Hello, welcome to Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is about lines and coordinate geometry. Today, we are just going to look at Section 2.1, which we learn about slopes, parallel, perpendicular, lines, and then we'll learn about midpoints. So by the end of the day, you should be able to say, I can find the slope of a line and write an equation. I can determine if lines are parallel and perpendicular. And the third one, you can find the midpoint of a line segment. All right, moving on. Here are some equations for slope. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Equation for midpoint. X1 plus x2 over 2. Y1 plus y1 over 2. It's just finding the average of the x's and the average of the y's. Here's three forms of a line. Standard is ax plus by equals c. Slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b. Point slope is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now, if you have these written down, great. If you need more time, just pause the video or go back and so you have these in your notes. Now, how do we know if lines are parallel? What is similar or the same exact thing in both these parallel lines? Hopefully you're shouting out the slope. If I go up and over at any point, this ratio should be the same. So parallel lines have the same slope. Now if we look at perpendicular lines are lines that cross at 90 degrees, something like that. Now if this one, our first one, has a slope of a over b, this one has a positive slope. Notice how this one has a negative slope. And it's just not the negative a or b, we actually have to do the reciprocal, so it's negative b over a. So for instance, in real numbers, if I have a slope of 2/3, my perpendicular slope to that would be negative 3/2. Or if I have a slope of 5, my second slope will be negative 1/5. Hopefully that makes a little more sense. We'll do more later on. Now we're going to get into finding slope. Now, if we want to find the slope of segment AB, that's these two, what we do is we take y2 minus y1, and we can label these if we want. Here's my first x, here's my first y, here's my second x, and here's my second y. So y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So this will be negative 3 over 2. So now the slope is negative 3/2. Now I want you to take a second and pause the video, and I want you to find the slope of AC, CD, and BD. And when you're ready, push play, and I'll go through the other three slopes. All right, hopefully you're completed. I'm going to go through AC, the last three fairly quickly. If I want to find the slope of AC, I'm going to do negative 1 minus negative 3 all over 4 minus 1. So that's going to be minus a negative is negative 1 plus 3. So that's 2 over 4 minus 1, which is 3. So AC has a slope of 2/3. CD, we're going to look for this slope. Well, maybe I'll say M3 is going to be 4 minus negative 1 all over 6 minus 4. So that's going to be 5/2. So this slope is 5/2. Finally, BD is our last one. So our fourth slope is going to be 4 minus negative 6 all over 6 minus 3. So that would be 4 minus a negative will be plus. So that's 10/3 is our fourth slope. Now, are any of these segments going to be parallel? You can look at all of these. Are there any slopes that are the same? So we could say no parallel, because none of these slopes are the same. Which are perpendicular? Are any of these negative reciprocals of each other? Well, segment AB is perpendicular to segment AC. Now there's some notation that we use to show that those are perpendicular, and an upside down capital T. When you see this, It means AB is perpendicular to AC. All right, now if we want to find the midpoint, if we want to find the point that's exactly in the middle of 1, -3, 3, -6, what I do is I add my x's. Here's x1 and x2, and divide by 2. So 1 plus 3, divide by 2, and then you add the y's, -3 plus -6, and then you divide that by 2. So this would be 4 halves, which is 2. This would be -9 halves, which is -4.5. So the point 2, -4.5 is going to be the point in between A and B. Now pause the video and see if you can find the midpoint of AC. All right, hopefully you're done. 1 plus 4 is 5, so we do 5 halves. -3 plus -1 is -4, and then we divide that by 2. So this would be 2.5, -2. So that's the point in between point A and C. All right, now we want to identify the slope and y-intercept in this equation. So this isn't in slope-intercept form. So, all right, so to put this in slope-intercept form, first thing I'll do is subtract 2x from both sides, leaving 3y equals 9 minus 2x. Now if I divide both sides by 3, then I'll have y is equal to 9 divided by 3 is 3, 2 divided by 3 is just 2/3 x. Now my slope is the value in front of the x, so that's -2/3. My y-intercept is the other number, which is 3. So try this one on your own, pause the video, and see if you get the same answer that I do. All right, what you do is subtract 4x on both sides, leaving -5y is equal to 20 minus 4x. Now we divide both sides by a -5. So now I have y is equal to 20 divided by -5 is -4. -4 over -5 is going to be positive 4/5 x. So my slope is the number in front of x, which is 4/5. My y-intercept is -4. In this one, we could just put a plus 0x. So my slope would be 0. My y-intercept would be -3. All right, now we want to write an equation of a line parallel to y equals 3/4 x, and it goes through the point 1, 2. So first, if it's parallel to this, then the slope of my line will just be 3/4. If it goes through the point 1, 2, then point slope form will be the easiest to do, because it's y minus my y value, which is 2, is equal to my slope times x minus 1. Now to convert this to slope-intercept form, I can multiply the 3/4 over the parentheses, so it's going to be y minus 2 equals 3/4 x minus 3/4. Now I would add 2 to both sides. And so this would be y equals 3/4 x. -3/4 plus 2 is going to be 1 and 1/4. Now standard form just has the x and the y on one side and a number on the right hand side. So if I subtract 3/4 x, I could have y minus 3/4 x is equal to 1 and 1/4. And so that would put it in standard form. Now let's write an equation of a line that goes through the points 2, 5, and 0, 1. So the first thing we'll need is the slope. So the slope, I do 1 minus 5 over 0 minus 2. So that would be -4 over -2, which will just be a positive 2. So the easiest one to write for me would be to write y minus 5 is equal to 2 times x minus 2. That's point slope. All right, so here's a quick little summary. For a slope, remember that slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Our midpoint, we add our x's, divide by 2, add our y's, divide by 2. Our parallel lines have m1 is equal to m2. Our perpendicular lines, slopes, are opposite reciprocals. So if one is AB, the other one is negative B over A. All right, hopefully that gets you through the homework. Good luck.